somebody doesn't I'll like describe it.
You want to turn that off?
What? No, that's okay. It doesn't matter. I mean, it doesn't matter to me.
Okay.
It's probably going to be too hot if you turn it on. Maybe one of those days. Tetrachords. This is no questions.
Tetrachords?
Tetrachords. What's a tetrachord?
A group of 4 notes?
Yes. It's a good start. Anything else?
Could be the first 4 notes of the major scale.
Could be. Could be the last 4 notes of the major scale too.
Yeah.
Could be the first 4 notes of the minor scale, the last 4 notes of the minor scale, the first 4 notes of the big scale. That's so what is it?
Consecutive notes?
Huh?
Consecutive notes?
So if I do this, that's a tetrachord.
No.
There was a consecutive.
Yeah.
Or if I went down. So there must be something else we're missing in the definition.
I think it's the simplest way to spell a chord using 4 notes.
No, it's not a chord.
Or a cluster.
Huh?
Or
It's
a
closer to what Curtis was saying.
Does it have to have a whole step in it? Is there like a rule of it?
Historically, no, it doesn't. But today, yes. I don't know how to answer that question. No. In the original definition of it, no. But today, with our system of music, yes.
Okay. Is it only comprised of half steps and whole steps?
Yeah, because our system of music is only comprised with those are the smaller steps. That's why I said our system. We're not Greek, and we're not ancient. So that's why I'm saying it like I'm saying it. Historically, it's been defined. There's various ways of defining it, but in the system of music we use today, you know, the so-called equal tempered semitone is the smallest unit. So anybody else? Cut it. Anybody else?
If I knew, I would have had the answer before you asked.
I was just looking your way. I wasn't. I just happened to be looking at you. So, I didn't mean to single you out. I mean, even if you don't know, guess. I mean, people made some good guesses. We're getting closer. So maybe collectively we'll get it. I mean, what's it sound like? Tetra.
4.
Right. So it has something to do with 4. 4 what?
4.
Good start. Anything else?
Yes, to start and end with a perfect 4.
Yep. There you go.
So it's any combination of intervals that starts and ends within a perfect 4.
Not exactly.
Okay.
I mean, not unless you're going to include. Well, there's certain rules about what's happening with the pitches in between. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
You know, but there's historical thing. You know, tetrachords were talked about in ancient Mesopotamia, Egypt, Greece. The literature comes down from the Greeks, and they had different what they call genera. It's a plural for tetrachords. You know, different genera, and the different genera were the enharmonic, the chromatic, and the diatonic. And today, what we use is basically the diatonic. Although you could use the chromatic too. You know, in our system, the enharmonic involves intervals that are smaller than what we generally use today. Not exactly quarter tones, but something like that. Let's put it that way. They're not really quarter, but they're smaller than semitones. you have chromatic, and then you have diatonic. But what we're going to concern ourselves with today is the diatonic, because that's the easiest one to deal with. So, everybody knows what diatonic means, right? Okay. So, there's only 3 possible tetrachords within the definition that you gave that are diatonic. And obviously, they're going to have two tones and a semitone. When I say tones, I mean whole tone. 2 tones and a semitone. Okay? So they're going to be, starting on this note, ba, they're going to be what? Ascending. Can you sing them all?
Tone, semitone.
Just sing them. I want to hear the pitches. Right? The next one? Don't say the same thing. Sing something different. Right. Did you hear me sing? Sing it with him. And the last one is. There you go. There you go. That's it. La da da da, la da da da, la da da da. Okay? So what I'm going to talk about is tetrachord modulations. I'm going to talk about modulating with these tetrachords. Now, again, this is not one of those things where I'm just giving you answers. I'm trying to get you to think. What can I possibly mean by modulating tetrachords?
Changing what a half step is.
That's one idea. Because a modulation is what? What does modulate mean? Originally, it doesn't mean that because they didn't have keys, but
Change color?
change. Just change. Alright? Right? You can have modulation outside of music, right? You guys heard of modulating things and electricity and different things, right? You know, modulating frequencies, all kind of stuff. But in music, it means some kind of change. You can have modulation of all kind of things. In ancient times, they had modulation of genera, they had modulation of species, they had modulation of system, they had modulation of rhythms, they had modulation of all kinds of things. Today, typically, people think of modulations of chords, tonality, stuff like that. But, you know, you can have all kinds of modulations. So, if I say modulating tetrachord, there's 2 things that I can be talking about. I can be talking about what Curtis just mentioned, which is the tetrachord changing, right? You guys follow me with that? Which can mean a number of things, right? Well, I'm asking you, it can mean a number of things. Changing the tetrachord can mean what? Changing what?
Where the half step is?
That's one way the tetrachord can change. And what's another way it can change?
When we started with.
Okay, change the position of the tetrachord. I'll accept that answer. Jeopardy. Okay, yeah, changing the position. So you can change the structure or you can change the position. Okay? Just like you can do with scales, for example, right? You change the structure of the scale, you change the position of the scale. Alright? Now, generally when we modulate, when people talk about modulation today, which one of those are they talking about, generally speaking? Or are they both the same thing? Are they the same thing?
It's generally the position. Generally the position.
You guys agree with him? Yeah. Okay, so what we mean by changing the structure is that the ambitus or the range of the thing. In this case, we're talking about a fourth. If we're talking about a scale, we're talking about an octave. You know, the range of the thing stays the same, but the makeup and inside of it changes. You know. Yeah, structure. Like for example, if you do an Ionian mode between C and C, and you do a Mixolydian mode between C and C, you know, I mean, it doesn't change position, but the structure inside of it changes. Okay, so that would be the same thing as changing the semitone in the tetrachord. They're equivalent to that. Or if you were going from the key of C to the key of F, then that's changing position. All right, you see what I'm saying?
That's changing position.
Position. Position, yes. You're still dealing with 2 Ionian or 2 major scales, something like that, but you change the position of it. Yeah. Now, usually when you change the position of something, historically there's a preparation. I think we talked about this, but maybe we did. But there's a preparation. Like if you're in the key of C and you're going to the key of F, you know, usually the structure changes first and then the position. You guys follow me with that? Okay, all right. Now back to this tetrachord thing. Remember what I just said. Forget about what I just said, actually. I'm going another road. All right. There's another thing you can think of too, and that's change of relationship. And what that means is that there's two things happening, and the relationship between them changes some kind of way, which means one of them may move and the other one may not move. Okay? So if I do la da da da, okay, la da da da, and somebody sing that. Ladies, you sing. Because I want you to sing it high. That hurt. Sing it high. Well, not that high. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, just one octave. Okay, do it again. Okay, right. Now this is very simple. Men, I want you to go ah, oh, okay. Now that's the modulation. Okay, the tetrachord did not change. You guys see that, right? Okay. Now, if they were to go change it to the next tetrachord, we'll call them 1, 2, and 3. Okay, 1's the semitone at the top, 2's the semitone in the middle, 3 is the semitone at the bottom. So go to 2. All right, now men, if I asked you to put roots to those, what roots would you put to those?
Each note.
No, just like we just did. Oh, we just did that with that first tetrachord, right? Sing, Maria. No, the first one. That's what we just did.
Yeah.
Now, if I want you to do the same exact concept, but with the next tetrachord. You guys figure what I'm saying? It's not going to be the same roots. All right? So, ladies, here we go. Again, I mean, it's a little, some people are weaseling a bit. Ladies? Okay. Men, what roots are you here? Stuck. Okay. Okay, sing it. Do it again. Wunderbar. Maybe just look like German in here. Wonderful. All right, that's good. You just heard it, right? All right, good. Either that or you were at the workshop last year.
No,
Okay. Okay, I believe you. I trust you. All right, number 3. Yeah, you guys, she's like taking the lead and everybody else is like hiding, you know, and then all of a sudden they come up with sing. Okay, everybody but her sing. Okay, where are the roots? Everybody but him. Since you got the last one. Please don't tell me it's the same ones.
Okay.
Huh? I heard somebody sing something, but they're hiding. Huh? It's just gonna get harder now. These are the ascending ones. They're easier. I hear people singing, but I don't. I just hear. I don't hear anybody singing up. Who's that? Raise your hand. Who sang that? See, they don't even want to raise their hand. Okay, sing it. Okay, ladies, sing with them. And you gotta sing strong because you're the only one, right? It's like 50 women to you. Okay, here we go. Right. Wunderbar. Does that sound right to you guys? All right. Now, what we have to do is figure out the principle. See, this is what theory is. Theory is an idea. There's no such thing as, you know, the right theory and all this kind of stuff. Theory is an idea about how something works, about why it works, about why it functions the way it does. So now we got to figure out what is the principle here that we're looking at. Just now you were using ear. You know, everybody was using their ear, and they figured it out. Great, great answers. Now, I want you to use your mind. This is a little bit different. Just a little bit. All right? I want you to tell me why, what's the principle that's happening here? And you can't rely on your school shit, your school stuff, sorry. Because they teach you this in school. I don't think they did.
Yeah.
All right? Did they? You went to school, right? They teach you this. All right, so we got to figure out why it works. Go back to number one. Why does that work?
It's interesting. We have one, the root, the third, and the fifth.
It wasn't in that order, though.
Sorry?
It wasn't in that order.
Oh,
That
yeah,
wasn't the order.
The root first, and the fifth, then the third.
Right.
Well, and the being a root, go to the root of the next chord.
Mm-hmm.
The fifth goes to the fifth, and the third goes to the third.
Right.
I don't know.
I wouldn't phrase it that way, but
Oh,
you're absolutely right in what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I would phrase it a little different, but
Could you explain that again?
yeah, he can say it. You want to say it in French? Okay, go ahead. Can you turn around and speak to louder? to
I
everybody?
just looked at the notes and
He's writing everything down, so
Yeah.
it's cheating.
Yeah.
So that's, I'm gonna take the notebook away from you the next group.
I mean, it's a great tool, you know. This
Yeah,
paper
yes,
and
I
the
know.
pens,
I know. It's
great
been
to
invented a long time
know.
ago.
To hide the mind, you know,
I know.
can help.
I heard about it.
Okay. So yeah, it's just about.
It's a good tool.
So I just do you want me to say it again? What I just said?
They want you to say it again. I'm in agreement with you.
Wow. Ba is the root and ba is the root of the next chord.
Hmm?
And then the other one.
You're talking to them. Remember that.
Ba ba that's the fifth of the first chord. Let's say. Well, that's the fifth.
The fifth of the bass note. Yeah, fifth above the bass note.
That's the fifth again of the bass note. And the third one was this is the root, so that's the third of the root, and the third of the root again. So the one goes to the one, the fifth goes to the fifth, and the third goes to the third.
Right.
But that's not an explication, it's just a constatation. It's just
Constatation.
constatation, like looking at the thing and
What's
Deduction.
constatation?
He means deduction.
Huh?
deduction. Yeah.
Deduction. Oh, okay. That's kind of a French translation.
Yeah,
Constatation.
yeah. I try that sometimes it's working.
See the
Are you saying it's an observation, or is that what you mean by this?
I just look at it.
Yes, that's what you mean.
Observation. Okay. all right.
Observation.
Yes.
Observation.
Yes. Yes. You're just saying that this is the structure.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, but we got to start somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you start with observation. Okay. So, anybody else want to add anything to that, or anybody not understand what he said? You still don't get it. All right. Show it to them on your paper. Maybe.
I start tall. I wrote with an A because I hear the pitches for the sax notes. So that's fine.
Not important. Most people know how to transpose nowadays.
I see. Great tool, eh?
Well, what key was I singing in, by the way? Can anybody know who doesn't have perfect pitch what key I was singing in?
You singing 3 different keys.
No, but the abatus between the tetrachords were always the same.
First
The-
note
the-
is
the-
C.
C to F.
La da da da.
A. C to F.
C. D, C. C to F.
Oh, there's a lot of guesses here. It's going all around the world. What was that Prince said around the
Do
world?
I?
Maybe
Do I sound?
Huh?
Do I sound?
La da da da. Play it.
D flat.
Oh, sorry.
So that means that the first notes were what? When the guys were singing the notes, the first notes were what?
C, F,
And then it was,
F, B flat,
and then it was,
A flat, B flat.
right. Fast. Wunderbar. Okay. So we haven't gotten to the function part. We looked at, we got close to it. I mean, you said root, and then you said fifth, and then you said third. Okay. In order to get to the function, you have to change the terminology a bit. And the terminology I'm going to use, I mean, I'm still using the same principle you're saying, is generator instead of root. But you'll find out why. I'm going to use generator, fifth and third, instead of root, fifth and third. Okay? Because when I turn these around and descend, okay, we're going to do the same thing. That's now one. The semitone at the bottom. That's two, and that's three. Okay? And we're going to do the same thing. So ladies, number one. Not you. Because I hear one person singing. Ladies, number one. Again, do it again. I heard only one person. See, some people have a habit of like waiting for everybody else to do it and then they jump in. Jump in anyway. Don't worry about being wrong. It's okay. Alright? So, now I want you guys to sing the roots. Everybody but him, because I know you figured it out. Which is good that you're figuring it out, but for right now it's not good. Okay. Here we go. Guys, you ready? Or somebody think they got it? Huh?
I think so.
Okay, here we go. Sing loud. You said la. Is that your first note? La. La or la. Which one?
Second one.
Okay. I can tell. It's like something in between. Sorry. La.
That's what I was trying to say.
Okay. Do it again. Does that sound right to you guys? To everybody?
Sounds right. No.
Okay. It doesn't sound right though, huh? He wasn't supposed to say anything, but too late. Doesn't sound right though, huh? So we got to figure out if it's right or not. Is it the same principle as the other one?
But we ended on another interval. Both intervals were not the same. We didn't go from the fifth to the third, right?
This is the first one. This is the first one. The first tetrachord.
Yeah. What about? Yeah, this is number one. It's number one. Semitone at the bottom. Now the semitones have reversed positions.
The
now.
last
Yeah.
semitone.
Yeah, the last semitone. Let's put it that way. Yeah, it's better. The semitone is the last interval.
Right.
The tetrachord. Yeah. All right. Does it sound right or not? I mean, we have one person says it didn't sound right, but I don't hear anybody refuting that or. I mean, obviously you think it's right because that's what you said.
Yes.
I hear it in a few places though. I mean,
Oh, now you okay? What's the other place you hear?
like
Ma.
Okay, sing that with ladies. Here we go.
maybe not.
Yeah, maybe we're getting worse. It's like, he's like, all right. If I say that this one was the same as the other one, generator to generator, could you figure it out using your brain?
Steve, I have a guess. I got here late, so I'm not sure what's going on. But if the last one went down a fifth, is it possible that this one goes down a fourth or up a fifth? So it's not really.
Anything's possible.
It's not really.
We haven't figured it out yet.
Could be la la.
Okay, ladies, here we go. Sing loud. You gotta sing low though.
I can't. I have a high voice.
You can't say la.
No, I can't.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Wow.
I was gonna say I should be.
Okay, well you guys do it for me. Alright. La, okay, here we go. It's a nice sound, but is that it?
No.
No? Alright.
Could somebody catch me up to where? Because I got here like half an hour late, so I'm not
It's
sure.
too late, man.
I'll never get there.
Yeah, you have to just listen. We wouldn't do too much. I asked them what a tetrachord was, all this stuff, you know, it's too late. But I think Oha's recording it, so you can't go back to the time machine. You guys don't remember that show that was like in the 70s, the time machine? Nope. Everybody's too young. Okay. Alright. Oha, you remember that time machine? Time tunnel?
You're too young to.
Alright. Alright. Where's Graham Haynes when we need him? Okay, so alright, so okay, do the same thing, right?
The same roots.
No, the same la da da da. Okay? Now I'm telling you, if well, I can't tell you without telling you, so I can't do it. Sorry.
It's just the logic has to be the same, right?
Yes, the logic has to be the same, but if they don't know the logic of the first one, they're not going to know the logic of the second one. It's the same thing. I can tell you that. It's the same it's the same relationships. But if you don't know what the first relationship is, if you don't really know, other than structurally, you know, then you're not going to know the relationship of the second one either.
Well,
The first one again. The first time we sang the first note, and we ended up on the last note.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't know if logic holds that we should do that again here and just sing.
That's what we're trying to figure out.
Yeah.
I can tell you the answer to that, of course, but that's what you guys are collectively trying to figure out.
Yeah.
Is that the logic I'm talking about? Now, I gave you a hint when I said generator. That was the hint right there. Now, I know some of you don't know what generator is, but you know, I can't help that. You know, but those of you who do know what generator means, then you should have a clue right there.
why don't we try
Because I
that?
mean, I said generator to generator, fifth to fifth, and third to third. This is what the men were doing. Generator to generator, fifth to fifth, and third to third. So all you have to do is do the same thing, but you got to figure out what's the generator in this case. La da da da. Generator to generator. Generator of what? Fifth of what? What are we talking about? When he said fifth, third to third, generator, what was he talking about?
The dominance.
No, you were talking about the first and last note of the tetrachord.
Yeah.
Okay. There's no chords here. There's no, you know, you can't start making up. I mean, you can add chords, you know, but we're just dealing with the pitches that are here. Okay? And the relationship between what the ladies were singing and what the men were singing. That's all we're dealing with. You can call it a chord in your mind. You don't have to call it a chord. It doesn't matter. The pitches are what they are. That's all we're dealing with. Two sets of pitches. What the men were singing and what the ladies were singing. Now, when he said generator to generator, he didn't say generator, but when you say generator to generator, fifth to fifth, and third to third, we're talking about the first and last note of the tetrachord. All right. So, given that information,
So
you should know what the men should know what to sing.
So it has to be generator to generator for the first.
It's going to be exactly the same. It's going to be generator to generator. The women are going to be singing. The woman's first note are going to. The lady's first note is going to be generator for number one, for the first tetrachord, and the last one's going to be the generator. For the second tetrachord, their first note is going to be the fifth, and the last one's going to be the fifth. For the third tetrachord, their first one's going to be the third, the last one's going to be the third. Given that,
Oh yeah.
you should be able to figure it out. Maybe. What does that mean?
The first one, that should be what the men sing.
La da 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 dee. Okay? You guys sing it.
Isn't that what you sang first? Though?
Yeah,
Say, Curtis, aren't you standing still?
Very possible.
Isn't it just like you just said?
Sing it. Sing it with the ladies.
Started with that already.
Sing it with the ladies. Here we go. Is that right? Okay.
Doesn't sound like results anyway.
Huh?
Doesn't sound like it resolves like the first one does.
Okay, I'm gonna give you another clue. The generator to generator, fifth to fifth, and third to third thing only applies to the ladies. What the men should be singing are the roots. Okay? That's the last clue I'm gonna give you. The men should be singing the roots. The ladies, that thing that he figured out, that only applies to the first and the last note of the tetrachord. That's all it applies to. It does not apply to what the men are singing. Okay? You follow me with that? There's a difference.
So we were just saying the generator, but we have to figure out what the
No. Unless you're a woman, you're not dealing with that. The ladies are singing generator to generator, fifth to fifth, and third to third. That's what the ladies are singing. The men are singing the roots. That's it. In every case, the men are singing the roots.
I don't know what the difference between generator and root is.
Yes, therein lies the love, my friend. That's exactly the thing. But in the positive world, it was easy to figure out in the first one because I said it many times because. All right, I'm not gonna say it again.
No, it's easy.
Because the generator and the root is the same.
In the positive world.
In the
Yes.
fantasy world.
Can I try one?
Yes.
Okay.
With the
What's
ladies?
The what's the stat?
Just you and all the ladies?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay, here we go.
No, is that the first note?
That's what they're singing,
Okay.
yes. Here we go. Sounds beautiful. Is that right?
No, we tried that.
No, he says it's not right. He's laughing. He's laughing. No. Somebody else said something. Who was it? What did you say?
I just thought that we tried that one earlier.
Hmm.
Can I try one?
Yes. Everybody wants a chance to sing with the ladies. Here we go. Get away from that.
Yeah.
Hmm?
That's what Curtis saying.
Yeah.
Is that what's the one of the first things?
That's what you did. I don't think so.
No, this is almost like.
Was it what he's saying or not? It
It
wasn't. It wasn't what he said.
That was it.
I don't know. You gotta tell me.
You got it.
He's like, I think you got it.
Got it.
Oh, I see.
You sang a fifth down.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so he couldn't. He
That's
couldn't. He
why
couldn't have been
he
singing the same
started
thing.
it.
He only sang a fourth down.
Because the root and the generator are separated by a fifth, I think, in both cases.
Yes, a man with the paper. See, he's got an advantage. He's got technology that you guys don't have. He's moved ahead. You guys are in the like I don't know. Huh? Yeah,
The pre
Paleolithic or something, and he's moved ahead a little bit.
Maybe Neil's
Like
like
a Neanderthal. Okay. All right. He's in the Bronze Age. You're in the, no, just kidding. Try it again. Does that feel right? Does it feel better than the others? All right, let's move on. No answer. Let's move on. Next one. Number 2. Ladies. Ladies are killing you all. I don't know what to say, guys. Okay, now everybody but him. Now that he's figured that out, I want somebody else to figure it out. You see, you got him using the paper too. He's switched to your technology. It's like, hey, this kind of works. All right. Number 2 is what? The ladies are singing what to what in terms of function?
Fifth to fifth.
Fifth to fifth. So you guys singing the roots gotta sing what? Singing ladies? I hear a lot of notes. What's the fifth to the fifth?
same thing.
Right. So sing it.
La
orangutan roots. All right. You had a trombone, you just kept sliding. One of those notes has got to be it, right? All right. Try it again. Who sang that? Somebody was singing with their mouth closed, so you couldn't see whatever. Like a ventriloquist. Come on. Do it again. Okay, sing your first note, lady. Hold it. Men? Ladies? All right. They're singing the what?
Third.
Okay, so what's the
We should sing a third under that for the root.
We don't want the
what kind of third?
Major.
Okay, so here's the thing. They're singing the major third in all cases. But they're singing the major third, in this case, below the generator. You guys are singing the root, which is not the generator. The root is the fifth, as my man here said. Right? The root is the fifth, which I've said a zillion, gazillion, gazillion times. Alright? So, that makes your third, what kind of third?
Mine.
If you have a generator,
Yeah.
and they're singing a major third below, and then you're singing a fifth below the generator?
Minor third.
Okay, there you go. There you go. Ladies? Men? Alright. Your last note? Men? Men? I'm hearing a lot of notes. La. Men? Okay, alright. Some people are singing. Alright. Now, ladies, sing your whole phrase. Men, you're a little weak, but ladies are much stronger than you. Sing it again. Back to number one. People have no trouble finding the first note, right? There you go. Number two. Number three. Wunderbar. Wunderbar. Okay, there we go. Huh? Yes. Now, we're going to do this now. Okay? My read works. You sit around being quiet. Okay? Alright, so. Everybody play that. Okay, now this time play with the rhythm I played it.
Play it again, please.
I played it already.
You need to play it again.
Can you play with the rhythm I played? That's the right rhythm, wrong notes. Now you play it with the right rhythm of the round. There you go. Alright. Alright, do it again. Everybody now. La, la. That's a little slower. La, 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 Alright. Alright. Anybody else got the instruments? I see a lot of people sitting around with cases. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep cycling through the tetrachords. You dig what I'm saying? Don't write any more, man, today. No more. Stop writing. Use your head. everybody else to get the instruments up. Anybody know that song?
Oh yeah.
No, very good. Who wrote it?
Eddie Guerra? Coleman monkeys?
You're in the right era, but not yet. Huh?
That's the
That's the young.
That's tickle, tickle, tickle.
No, not
Tickle
Triple
Tickle.
Tickle. Tickle Tickle. How about
Oh yeah.
now that's who?
Pudding Head Battle. Pudding Head Battle co-wrote it with Eddie Guerra.
Pudding Head Battle.
That's his real name. Yeah. Well.
Pudding Head? I
Yeah.
ain't never heard. I just heard that Eddie Durham wrote it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pudding Head Battle.
I don't know.
Okay, what about this? Don't know it?
That's no mood at all. I don't know who's by it. No mood at all.
You sure?
Yeah.
What's this one?
What's the name of this name?
no mood at all.
Huh?
Tico Tico.
No, that's my heart belongs to.
Oh, that's right.
Right. Right. My heart belongs to daddy.
Okay, what kind of bird makes this sound?
I don't know my birds. I only know one bird. He died a long time ago.
I know. I'm not gonna do that again.
That's okay. That's good. What kind of bird? I mean, you know how many birds there are in the world?
Yeah.
What bird is this?
I'm not gonna say because it's not important. Then unless you're like in South Africa, you probably won't hear one.
South Africa. A South African bird. He's only the bird is only in South Africa?
Well, it's in most parts of Africa south of the equator. Sorry, I'm just showing off right now.
So showing off is good. It almost sound like the moose bird.
Oh yeah, of course.
Are we ready over here?
Shouldn't show off at all.
By the way, my heart belongs to daddy. That's the heart belongs.
So what's the other one? Bird
Huh? That's my heart belongs to daddy.
Ah.
So just to let you know that. Huh? La da 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 da. It's Cole Porter. My heart belongs to daddy. Okay. As bad as the bird. Okay, let's keep going. Alright. How about right? St. James Infirmary.
What was it?
St. James Infirmary. Your father what?
I forgot about that too.
Oh.
My father worked there.
I was down in the St. James. So we ready? We got our horns out over there? Everybody's ready? Okay. Tickle toe. Here we go. No. Okay. All right. So that's the first one, right? Good. Guitar. There's an amp here. It's okay. So you don't want to be hurt. Okay. Some people may, I mean, I don't know if we should do this because I think we got some people at different levels and we're gonna, this goes on for a long time.
This is
That's told you to stop writing, man. You're still writing. It's like just,
I mean, I just my way of figuring out things fast.
you got a tape recorder and you're writing, man. One of those gotta go.
Because it takes so much time.
Which one's gotta go? The tape or the writing? Which one you want to get rid of? Which you prefer?
The tape.
Oh, okay. All right, fine.
So if there's a street recorder, you can get the tape.
Huh?
You can get the tape from someone else.
You can also write from the tape later. I mean, you can also transcribe.
Yeah, but I mean, I always do that.
I know you always do that. I'm trying to get you to do something different than what you always do. That's the whole point of these workshops. If you're going to come here and do what you already can do, then what's the point? See? I got you.
No, make your case.
right. Make your case.
So that's a street race if I calls.
Right?
In the same.
But do it in your mind. You can see it. If you can write it, then you can do it here. Because that's where it's coming from in the first place, right?
Yeah.
The paper's not going to you, you're going to the paper. So you can do it.
Yeah. It's just that I know what it. I mean, it's about time.
Yes, but you're already faster than everybody. You want to be like faster than faster? You want to be like the bird guy? Come on. Forget about the paper. Turn it over. You got it on tape. It's okay. It'll be okay. Trust me. He said next time we'll send them back. That's cold. We're not going any further than that. We're gonna keep everybody with us, okay? We're not going any further than that. But it goes on, okay? Generator, right? And then it changes, it modulates from generator to generator to
Fifth to fifth.
right, fifth to fifth.
And in this world, the fifth is the generator. Generator is the fifth. Just say that.
You can say that. You can say it like that if you want to. You can say it like that.
Right? Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you a clue. Maria, play it.
Sorry.
Your name Maria?
Sorry.
Maria? Are you Maria?
I
Say Maria, play it. Okay, what did I just do? What did I just do? Do it again. Or I can do it like this. You see what I'm doing?
Yeah.
All right, good. Explain to everybody else.
You just went like you're just doing the male part under underneath the female part. But, so you first did the generator or in the negative voice, the generator,
Mm-hmm.
and then you did the fifth like that.
Okay, you repeat what I did. You Maria. Okay. The last time I changed the rhythm though. I did it. Okay? And it's gonna continue.
Is that
No, no. What's your next note after the next one? This guy says you just can't. You just can't do it. It's like an addiction, like a drug addict. Come on, man. Use your head.
Please.
I know you'll take your card out on the street.
Yeah, no, here, let me take this. Yes, it's like
Stone Age.
he said I put him back into the stone age.
Years of evolution.
We don't evolve in this class. We just stay at the same level. Nobody else is doing it. Well, I don't know about these guys way back there. It's like maybe there's somebody back there. He was doing it for a second, but he gave up. You see, it's like a drug, man. He's gonna start shaking and going through withdrawal, like you know. Okay, you know this withdrawal. How do you say it in French? Withdrawal. Huh? Monkey.
Manque, l'effet de manque.
All right, sorry, we're back to you.
from the
Do it again.
beginning?
Yeah, slow.
And then keep going?
I just want you to go to the next one. Now, there you go. That's all I want you to do. That's all I want you to do. That was beautiful. Okay, now explain to everybody what you did.
Well, at this point, I still don't know the terminology because nobody explained.
Okay, explain to me your own terminology then.
I went from the fifth below the generator to the fifth below the generator, and then I went from the generator to the generator. Then I went from the third combiner, third below the generator to the minor third below the generator, and then it's just
And then you went back to the fifth below.
the fifth below
The
the
last
note.
pitch. Now, if you want to keep doing that, obviously you'd have to visualize what the ladies are singing or playing in
Or
your head.
wearing.
Oh, that's deep. Wow. Okay. I didn't say that. I just want to let you all guys know. He
Let's not
said
go
that.
there.
He said that. So when you get outside, you can attack him. All right. So this day and age, man, that's not correct. I'm telling you, it's not politically correct. Okay, so okay, so although you know, I'm not say it. But anyway, here we go. Fifth below, right? And when we say third below, I mean, there's other ways you can phrase it too. You can always talk in terms of the generator if you want to do that. You can say fifth below the generator. You can say unison with the generator. And
Third.
is it third?
Yeah, minor third below it.
It's a minor third below their note, but what is it below the generator?
Oh, fifth.
Yeah, I got loose who you are. It's always a fifth below the generator. In every case, it's always a fifth below the generator. It's just that they're not always playing the generator. It's always a fifth below the generator, but the ladies are not always playing the generator.
That's why it works around the cycle. It's already
Not exactly, but I'm just letting you, give you more information. You guys are always playing a fifth below the generator. Always, in every case. But when you talk about what you're playing below what they're singing, that's a different story. Because they're not always playing the generator. I mean, at least in terms of the way we think of it. Okay? So if I did this. I want you to do the same thing. Start on F. Slow. Concert F, yes. I'm always talking concert. I would never think anything else in this room. No, I don't want you to play that. That's the ladies thing. I want you to play the other one.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Got it?
I wasn't here for that.
same thing.
Okay.
Now everything's above. That's the only thing. We're doing the same thing.
Everything's a fifth above.
No.
Everything's just the root.
You're playing the roots.
Okay.
That's different than saying everything's a fifth above.
Yeah,
You're still playing the roots. You were playing the roots in the last one, and you're still playing the roots in this one. Although the roots should be easier to figure out with this one. Oh, yes, you weren't here for this one, so that we're gonna switch to paper man. But he's without his paper, so now he's a Neanderthal again. So, so you're gonna play the roots, but you know what the roots are, right? Okay, but you gotta do that rhythmic switch. Do it slow. Again. We kind of got off rhythmically. 1, 2, 3. This is called slow. 4. You gotta keep going. One more. I want to go one more.
Okay.
Just one more. 2, 3, 4. Beautiful. You see, you didn't need paper. I know it's hard, but you didn't even need paper to do that. All right, you guys know what he was doing? Who doesn't know what he was doing?
Still lost.
Okay,
Not
that's,
completely lost.
but you're a bold soul, because nobody else, other people are lost, but they won't admit it. At least you admitted it. Which part are you lost about?
I'm close to understanding the.
You can hear it, right?
Yeah, but I'm.
Hey, how you doing?
Hello.
What are you doing out there?
I'm a musician.
No, we know that. Come on. You just came the wrong way, that's all. It's all hard. You might have to do it, Maria. You might have to do it Monday.
No, he's
Oh, okay. Secret passageway. They came in through the negative entrance. All right. So what were you saying?
I'm starting to understand it descending, but ascending. I know it's the same principle, but I don't know.
Okay. What he's doing is he's playing the roots.
Right.
Okay. You've been here the whole time, right?
Most of it. Enough for this to.
Okay. So when she says,
Yeah.
you understand what he's doing with that?
Not starting a fourth below.
No. He's just playing the roots.
Right.
That's it. You understand that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. When I do. Okay. Okay. Check out what he's playing. What's he playing? Fifth. Say it again.
Fifth below that.
Okay.
Okay. Another way you can look at it is this. I'm playing the fifth. Okay? In the first case, I was playing the generators.
Yes.
You can call it the roots because they're the same thing in this case. Okay? In the second case, I was playing the fifths. The fifths, so that means that if he's playing the roots, he's going to be a fifth below me. All right? In the third case, I'm playing the thirds. So if he's going to be playing the roots, he's going to be a major third below me. In the third case, I'm starting to see. You see?
Yeah.
All right? So now I'm going to do all three of them. But he's got to change
Right.
on the note that I'm holding. That's the reason why I'm playing in that rhythm. Because you know, ba 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 or whatever, you know. Okay, so here we go.
Okay.
You following?
Yeah.
Okay. You sure?
Now I'm trying to make sure that it's the same thing. I mean, it's the same thing descending, but now.
It's the same thing functionally descending, but it's not the same. It's not the same. The notes are not in the same relationship. There's a difference. And for this, we have to go through the whole negative thing, which takes a whole class, and I'm not going to do it. But you guys are taping, right? You taping? Oh, you don't have tape or paper. Wow. He's even further back than you are. but other people have tapes, you know. Yeah.
So I just want to clarify. So in both cases, you're always playing the root.
Who's you? The ladies or the men?
The person playing the ball.
Yes, and
Always
the men are always playing. We'll say men and women for now, because
Yeah.
the women had to know. The men are always playing the roots. Yes,
Right.
always.
Right. And the
Roots.
women are always starting and ending on the generators.
No. In the first tetrachord, they're starting and ending on the generators. In the second tetrachord, they're starting and ending on the fifths. The tetrachord with the semitone in the middle.
Okay.
With the tetrachord and the semitone at the end, when the last interval, okay, it doesn't matter whether you're going up or down. All this is true, what I'm saying. The up and down doesn't matter. Okay? The men are playing the roots, and the women are playing with the tetrachord that ends in a semitone. The women are playing from generator to generator. Okay? Tetrachord number 2. The men are playing the roots. They're always playing the roots. And the women are playing from 5th to the 5th. Okay? Semitone at the beginning. The men are playing the roots. They're always playing the roots. And the women are playing from the third to the third.
Right.
Okay? So that's the concept.
Then that just leaves me a little confused about what the generator is still.
Mm-hmm.
But
Right. I understand that. So what is the generator? What do I mean by generator? What is it generating?
It's what stays the same between the positive and the negative.
Why am I calling it the generator? What is it generating?
The other notes in the chord.
The other intervals.
When I wait, that means that I'm waiting for something else. Keep going. Don't be afraid to blend it. This is all good.
the overtone series.
Okay, there are no chords right now. I haven't been talking about any chords. We're talking intervals so far. We're not talking chords. Okay? So when you say the other note in the chords, there are no chords. Not yet, until we add some. You can make some chords if you want, but so far we haven't been doing chords. You can have a root without a chord. Or can you? That was my Jim Carrey look. All right, you guys too young for Jim Carrey too? Come on. All right, so what was I saying? I got Jim Carrey threw me off. Generator, yeah. Generator generating what?
Motion?
It's generating a harmonic series. And it can generate it in two directions. You can generate it up or down. It's generating a harmonic series. Okay? Bless you, whoever did that. Or the Gesundheit or whatever. I don't know what it is in French. Sorry. Huh? Gesundheit? That's German.
Right.
Right. So there's somebody in here is German, right? Nobody? English is a dramatic language. I'm sorry. All right. So it's generating. We went through this, and we went through a long thing with it. I'm not going through it again, but I'm just telling you, it's generating a harmonic series. Okay? Or it's generating the subharmonic series, which is a negative harmonic series, you could say. Harmonic or subharmonic. Harmonic or subharmonic. It's generating one of those. Okay? But that's different than the root. Because in the subharmonic series, it's the third harmonic that is the root. Chew on that.
How did you come up to that? How did you?
I studied. No, seriously. I studied. I looked at a lot of stuff in history. You know, it's already there. I'm not making none of this up. Now the way we're doing it, yes. Nobody's doing it with all the things you are, or giant stuff or whatever. But but anyway. So let's talk about something else. How many people know this? How many people have heard that? Of course, okay? Good. So you play the roots. Do it again. Okay, he's playing la, ha. Everybody agree with that?
Could be also something else.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
give me what else they can be. Play. You play it. Do it again. No, same thing.
All the same.
What you played before. You guys agree with that? Can it be that too?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Now do the next one you're going to do. Okay. Now do what you did. Huh? Would you like that one?
Well, it was similar to what you first did, didn't it? No, no, I don't remember.
Okay. Play what you first played.
Yeah.
Come on. You guys talk with each other. Don't talk to me. Talk to each other.
Well, it ended in the same place. It was the same direction.
Explain your thinking on what you're playing.
What I'm thinking?
Are you thinking?
Yeah, I guess
Okay,
so.
so explain.
Yeah. I think I was going on the triad within the first four notes. The triad type construction.
Can you play the triad you're talking about?
Yeah, and the way that would resolve.
So you're talking about concert D flat minor.
Yeah.
You just played it a different
Yeah.
way. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, and resolving that as.
But then you played. Okay. What about
Yeah.
that? What about that note?
Because I thought of it as a minor. I guess what one would
Play
say
the
that-
play the triad you're talking about on the set. No. But. Okay. All right. So major. All right.
Yeah, and
All
then
right. So he's thinking D flat minor, G flat major, A flat.
yeah.
A flat what at the end?
Major.
Major. Okay. And all he played was E. Okay, yeah, we'll get to that. And what he played was E flat to A flat. In the case of the one that you said was the same. Now, what's the question?
Why the G flat?
You have to ask him. He's behind you.
Part of the let's say substitution of or the sort of not sure how to describe it, but
No, it's okay.
resolution from the borrowing from the four minor kind of thing, like D flat minor and D flat.
Mm-hmm. I'll explain to you another way.
Just Cassie.
He's playing a 2/5
Yeah.
off of D flat minor.
Yeah.
Yeah, but why?
Just Cassie. So it's 2/4 to 4 to the Cassie to the 1. Just Cassie. That's it.
Okay, let me ask you all this. What he played, does it work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why does it work? It works. I agree with you. Why does it work? It's very simple.
It's like going to the minor but resolving in major.
Okay. You play the blia boo ba ba ba, and I'm gonna do a series of progressions that are the same as what he played, but in different places. Okay. Go ahead. I'm gonna start with the most obvious. And then what he did. Now the next one. Go ahead. And now the last one, which is what?
Yeah.
Okay, you understand it, right? Okay, now does everybody else understand it?
Yeah.
Nope. Yeah, you do?
Yeah.
Explain it.
Each one of those are
Explain to them now.
each
I
one
think
of
I got
those is a if you're in the key of concert A flat, each one of those is a different cadence using a 2/5 in jazz terminology, but borrowing from different key centers. So the first one, the one that I was just talking about, that was from the 4 minor, the last one you did last one, the 6 minor,
Well, the first one I did
is just the one. It's like the
2.
The 2/5.
Yeah, right. Okay. Go ahead, keep going. 6 minor. Be careful with that.
Yeah, like
Flat 6.
oh, flat 6 minor.
Yes,
Right, right.
yes.
And then there's just one.
Because I did E. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, and then
E to
the
A to A flat.
Mat E flat, and then
The last
the other
one.
is the tritone. This the E
Tritone
to
of what?
A to A flat. Oh, the one you're talking about, the E to A flat is already happened.
G
The
minor
last
C.
one you did was G to C A flat.
Why does that work? Or does it?
That's from the natural one, right?
No.
Just,
It's not from the natural minor.
this is try to.
Ah, I see what you're saying. You're saying it's the 2/5 of the natural minor.
Right.
Okay, yeah. Of the relative minor is what you want to say.
Oh, that's what I meant.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I understand. I was just trying to figure out your terminology, just like I was trying to figure out his terminology. I gotta convert all this stuff in my head to what people are talking about. But the words don't matter.
Right.
It's the sound that matters. You know, the words only matter if somebody can understand you. You know, right? Because you could be saying it in French and I wouldn't get it, but you still be right. You know, but the sound is what matters. All right. So what he's saying is that he's thinking of each one of the 2/5 as being in a key. Okay. Now, I don't know if that's exactly what you were thinking, but the one off the minor 4, that's in what key?
Concert B, I guess.
Okay. All right. Now, okay. Another thing you can do is you can play these backwards. You can play. He played. This time I want you to end on your A flat. La da ha. Yeah. Okay. Now play it again. What I'm playing. That's the sound I'm playing. Okay. You understand? Right there. Ball, ha, ha. Okay? That's the same thing as now play. They're exactly the same. Okay?
Yeah.
Everybody understand that? Maybe not. I see a bunch of. I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk. You see it's the same interval? Work it out. You know, I'm sure you know that one. Look at the intervals you play. Look at the intervals. Same intervals, exactly.
And then starting
Minor, right? Minor third, major third, minor third, right?
Yeah.
Then coming down to semitone. And then whole tones and then semitone at the end. It's exactly the same interval.
It's inversed.
Yes.
What happens if we play?
It's inverse, but the key is the starting note.
So the key is what? A flat?
Huh?
Key is A flat? Or
A flat minor.
A flat minor.
In this case, and the other one's A flat major. La ba ho ba da ba ha ba ha o ba ha A flat major.
Right.
La bo ba ha bo ba ha o ba da ha A flat minor. La bo ba ha bo ba ha. Okay. Now the thing, this figure, as everybody says, is minor 4, right? Okay. I think of it as -1. You know. And this thing is a 2. with the withdrawal.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
He's like,
He's gonna go to France and copyright all this stuff.
I know, man. Put out books and shit. It's like, these are my ideas. Okay, so we had that. Same thing, right? Different ways of modulating, how you can change the placement or something. All I'm doing is changing the placement of these things.
Can you give a quick example just from
what I just did?
Yeah.
Okay, what was the last thing I did? I forgot it already. Oh, he's right actually. Did you play that? What did you play?
Yeah.
Right, that's right. They're right. B flat. B flat? B flat. Yeah, I'm playing that.
Is there, so I know you're thinking of triads, but is there like necessary triads to play depending on the key you're in?
All I'm giving you is example. There's no necessary this that. All I'm giving you is example, but I'm just telling you what I'm thinking.
Well, I mean, like when we did the negative in the key B flat, you You
What is it?
specifically played like
That
yeah,
Yeah.
You did a few others depending on what the roots were. And
Right.
I'm just wondering if those
What? No, I need to say that.
it's those same triads, yes.
okay.
Yes.
That's what I meant by necessary. But they
Well,
go together.
Yeah, but it can be others, but there's those same triads.
Okay.
You can do other things.
Okay.
You know, other kinds of progressions. You can put 3 progressions over one, all kinds of things. You know, but I'm just saying that that's the same thing. When he gave, they gave between the two of them, they gave 3 different examples. When I did this, right? You played 1 and he played 2, different things. And then I played 4, right? Of the same thing. So that's all I'm really doing.
So you do it near all of those.
Anything that will get you to the same place. It's like I said last week. If you're going to Flatbush, you can go down Bergen, you can go down Dean, you can go down, you can go down different streets and you can still get to Flatbush. So think of these things as being different streets that you go down that's going to get you there. I'm not really thinking, I'm thinking only about where I'm going and what path to get there. And there's a lot of different ways you can get there. These are only part of it. Right? Okay? You got it?
No, I mean.
Okay, look. All the things you are. Again, same thing. This is obvious. That's obvious, right? La bo ha ba da. Everybody understands that, right? Right? I could have done this now. Same thing. Same concept. Even the same figure, but different places. Now that works also. Right.
How do you think this one? Like a B flat, D flat 7?
How do you think?
I would say it's a plagal thing, and it's like a D flat 7 to A flat major. I would do like.
So you're saying it's subdominant progression?
Yeah, it's a sub.
Okay, all right.
That's what. How do you think about it?
Same.
I was expecting you to do.
That's what happens when you expect.
Yeah.
No, but anyway, it's cool. I wasn't thinking that way. I was thinking another way. All right.
So what election? Good Brian turned into a very high. What triad?
They get it as a secret top down.
Yeah, right.
Huh?
Besides
You
that.
said you think
No,
about
you
triad.
want
Which triad are you thinking about?
The triad he said. E flat 7, D flat 7. It's very simple. The first one was E flat 7. For the passing tone, right? That's simple, right? Next one, same thing. But he said he was thinking I was going to go. He thought I was going to do that, which I could have done that, but that's not what I was doing. Alright? The thing I was doing was actually a different type of progression. All those that he would have done were still big dominant progressions.
Right.
This is a sub-dominant progression. It's different. You feel me? I don't look like you feel me.
No.
He's not giving me that look.
You did E flat and then
D flat.
But those are just
The figure was the same, but the type of progression
aren't
was
those the
different.
chords? Aren't those roots? E flat and E flat?
Yeah, E flat, D flat.
So
Yeah.
why is it subdominant?
You guys
So,
saw.
because we're going to A flat. So E flat to A flat is dominant, and D flat.
Yes,
to
the
A
type of
flat.
progression. I'm not talking about the type of progression is dominant, subdominant, and dominant. E flat to A flat is what kind of progression? E flat major to A flat major is what kind of progression? You sure? You don't look sure.
Yeah.
You give me that look.
Yeah. It's dominant.
All right. D flat to A flat is what?
Subdominant.
Okay, that's what he's saying. All right. All right. Now, but when I talk about dominant and subdominant, I'm not talking about exactly that. What I'm talking about is anything. When I say dominant, I mean anything that gives me. I'm talking about a function, the dominant function. Doesn't have to be the coming from the pitch that's the dominant. You know. So to me, this is also dominant. I mean, for example, the track one. I would also call that a dominant progression. that's what I would call it. Somebody else may call it something else, but I would still call it a dominant progression. So if I went A7 to A flat, I would still call it a dominant progression because it functions like, it's the same function. Okay? And if I went G to A flat, I would still call that subdominant. Okay? You all want to hear an example of that, or do you care?
Yeah.
You sure? Somebody want to do it? Beside me? I'm not gonna do the same figure. I'm just, just because melody-wise, you have to figure out what works, and it's not always just transposing something. But I'm gonna play something that's you've heard a million times. Oh, you know what it is?
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. He just did it. They both just did it. Right. Okay. Play all the things you are. Okay. Right.
Okay. So would you call E to A flat also subdominant?
Would I? You talking about E major?
Yeah.
Yeah. Would I?
I'm just thinking because when you gave the different examples over the it was all in, I guess I'll have to use Barry Harris terminology, the same diminished family.
Mm-hmm.
And so would those all be in the diminished family, the dominant, and like E and B
Yes.
would also be in the
Yes.
diminished
Yes.
family?
Yes.
the
Yes.
subdominant?
But there's one caveat. Is that the right word? Caveat.
Yeah, I think so.
And that's French too.
Yeah.
Really?
It's getting deep.
Well, come on.
I'm getting French in here.
I'll give it to
French
Is
deep.
it French?
Huh?
It's like a superlative.
Maybe French.
Okay. It's probably Latin. But anyway. And we have to deal with quality also. That's the caveat. We have to deal with quality also. So E major and E minor are not the same. E major to A flat and E minor to A flat are not the same. D flat major to A flat and D flat minor to A flat. And when I say A flat, I mean any kind of A flat. Whether the A flat's major or minor is not important. What's important is the quality of the
Destination.
no, not the
quality
destination.
of
The source.
departure?
The source code. the quality of the source tonality. Okay. I could have gone to major or minor in the end. Okay? All right? You guys understand? So I don't know if that answers your question.
I think it does.
Okay? But you could see Art Tatum said you can make anything work if you know how to make it work. And actually I'm in agreement with that. But saying that to people who don't understand that is a waste of time, I think. Because they're like, what do you mean anything, man? Why I can just play anything, And, I don't know. You can in some quarters, let's put it that way. Alright, so supposed to be going with people? No? I'll tell you the last note. Okay? Now, the reason why that works is not because of any kind of, this note on top of this chord, this note that's got this chord. At some point, you got to get that out of your head. That this note goes to this chord, this goes to this chord. Because I just played a D natural, which obviously clashes with E flat 7. But it doesn't clash with E flat 7 in this instance. Because it's all about the melodic path you take. It's not really, it's never been about you have to play this note over this chord. Let me say that again. It's never been about you have to play this note over this chord. See, I do this when I want.
I can hear you.
What'd you say? All right. It's just about what works. That's what Duke was talking about. If it sounds good, it's right. And then you have to figure out, well, why does it work? Why does it sound good? I mean, if you listen to Don Bias and all those cats, they're gonna play many things that you think would not work or shouldn't work. But they sound, obviously they sound great, I guarantee you. But they sound good. I'm just looking at you. I'm not focusing in on you. I got to look somewhere. I could do like this.
It's like looking at the stop sign.
Yeah, right.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Going back to the
You went way back, yeah.
yeah, it's just what did you try to show, like a way of changing what is it about? That's a series of tetrachord?
What's it about? What's the point of that?
Modulation.
Yeah, but what else? I mean, I think you know it's about modulation, right? That's not the question you were asking, is it? I don't know what you're asking.
Actually, I'm just I'm wondering, is it like changing the quality of the tetrachord, like between the tree, moves to a different tonal center?
You don't have to do those things that I just did. Those are examples. All right? You understand that?
Okay.
Everything I'm giving here, everything, today, the other days, the rhythms and all that, they're just examples. You guys understand? I'm not giving you any kind of laws or rules or, you got to do this. When I say the fifth is a rule, it's just an example. All that stuff is just an example. You can take it or leave it, but it's just an example. But I'm showing you different ways of thinking about things that work, but that doesn't mean that these are the only ways of thinking about things. Obviously, they work. There's all kinds of ways of thinking about things that work, Now, what we're talking about here is we're just talking about, instead of talking about chords, and instead of talking about scales, we're talking in smaller, you could say scales. I mean, I don't want to sound like Jesse Jackson rhyme, but, you guys probably too young to know like Jesse Jackson is rhyming. But anyway, so, also the wrong crowd. I'm not the only black person in the wrong crowd. Okay, so anyway, but I'm talking about cells of information. You can take trichords, tetrachords, pentachords, hexachords, I'm not talking chords, even though the word chord is there. Because when people originally talked about tetrachord, they were actually talking about literally a chord, strings, 4 strings. That's what they originally were talking about. They weren't talking about chord as we speak of chords today. It's C or, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right, so originally that's what they were talking about. They weren't talking about, so when I say tetrachord, pentachord, hexachord, I'm talking about melodic figures. I'm not talking about, like somebody said earlier, 4 notes in a chord or something like that, 3 notes in a chord or whatever, okay? So, but you can talk about tetrachords in terms of harmony too. You can, but I'm just telling you what I'm talking about today. So when I talk about trichord, I'm talking about 3 melodic pitches. At least that's the language we're using today. Okay? I would say triad probably if I was talking about, a thing or something like that. But you can have, 3, you can have some Elliott Carter type stuff where you have 3 different kinds of, they don't have to be triads, it can be 3 chords, whatever. It doesn't matter. To me, chords is just a verticalization of.
Do you mean that the melody quality of the tetrachord implies certain move.
Can imply.
Can imply a certain
Yes.
move.
Yes.
So that's what you're trying to show with the
Yes. It can.
direction.
It can imply. Yes.
Okay.
And so, for example, within these same 2/5 progressions or dominant tonic progressions or whatever, all this tetrachord stuff obviously could work, right? If she said ba ha ha, ba ba ba, I want you to do 3 tetrachords.
Okay.
Yeah, but don't do it that fast, you know.
Wow.
Give them time. Like ba ha, let's keep repeating that.
I should do one tetrachord.
Very good. Next.
Okay. That's it. Another one.
Come on, you can do it. Do number 2. Number 2.
You are.
And
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Da, da, da. Do it in
That's
time.
number 2.
Ba. Do number 1. Da, da,
And the third one.
da,
No, it's not.
da, da. Keep playing. That's the third one. Right. See it?
Yeah.
See it in your head? You have to write it down. You see it in your head though?
Yeah, I see.
Okay, then why you write it down?
Because
I'm just messing with you.
because it's so much information, I want to be sure to memorize it.
Okay. Alright. You guys got that? Now, I'm going to ask you to do the negative. Or I'm going to ask you to do the negative.
Okay.
But I want you to do the yes, do the same thing.
Okay. Then it doesn't work.
Alright. You have to use some brain. You just guessing.
Let's go. There you go.
You can't guess. Because you have a 1 in 12 chance if you guess. I mean, maybe not quite 1 in 12.
More
But
like 1 in 7.
yeah. Somebody already did it though.
Ah,
Just a second ago, somebody already played it. Just a second ago, somebody already played it. I'm not gonna say who.
Maria, you know.
All right, no, you did it. You just did it, so do it again. Go ahead, Maria. Right, that's the first one.
Ah, okay.
Do you see why though? You have to see why. You just hear this. I know everybody's heard this before. Play it. Which is the bottom part of what he's playing. La bo ba da. Right? But I'm giving you a different theory for why it works. Because your theory is going to involve sharp nines and flat nines and all kinds of other stuff. And I'm not doing that.
Right.
I'm just doing, in this case, I'm just doing tetrachords.
Start on A flat.
Yes. Wonderful. That's where he started. He did it though. So don't ask me. You gotta ask him.
But I think are you just thinking about landing on the 5th and then landing
He
on
did it. I wasn't thinking at all. Gotta ask him.
Can't remember his name. What's his name?
Yeah.
Sorry. What is it?
It's a negative name. No.
Yeah, right, yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Were you just thinking about landing on the 5th when she hit the root?
I was thinking about the series of intervals. So to reach the notes of the chord with
The note of which chord?
of the A flat major
Mhm.
using 3 different series which are 3 different tetrachords. So first is whole tone, half step, whole step, half step.
Right, but I'm asking how did you choose which particular
Why did you
whole
start
tone
on A
half
flat?
step? Why did you start on the A flat and land on the E flat? Because you could.
Because if you want to to go here. You gotta start the
Right.
force up.
So that's what I asked. So you're just making sure
So,
you land on the fifth.
Yeah, it happens at starting of the root here. So I'm gonna use the first descending, but I just make it right.
He just makes it right. All right, look. Here's the 5 chord, right? You're right? What's up? You're going from generator to generator, right? All right. Now, what's the 5 chord in the other way? This is what it is. Generators?
Oh, okay.
The same thing. Okay? Even though she's playing B flat to E flat, E flat 7 is not the negative dominant of where we're going. This is the negative dominant. Or you want to look at it that way. I'll prove it to you. Play that, everybody. Right? Play it again. I hear people playing other things. We're going to keep playing until everybody's playing this. Let me hear you play the guitar. Skating. Right. Play it again. Yes. Okay, I want you to play it in a steady rhythm because you keep changing the rhythm up. Do it really slow. There you go. All right, right? Let me hear you play it on alto. Right? I mean, that's what I'm hearing you. She's turning around. Okay, good. Now, the next thing I'm playing is. It's the same intervals. You're addicted. Do you see the intervals are the same?
Yeah.
Do you guys see that the intervals are the same? Different direction, but the intervals are exactly the same? Okay? So I call that negative F to negative E flat. Negative F7. Okay? Yes, I'm always talking concert. I'm not going to talk just alto. There's only a few altos in the room.
Okay. I was just confused when it starts
Got a
off.
violin player next to you, man. Okay? Talking concert. Negative A flat, negative E flat. That's what I said. Alright? So that's what it is.
I still don't understand. I mean, I get that the intervals are reversed, but I'm still not able to figure it out.
Figure out what things you figure out. You might have to get together with somebody else after the class because it's, this your first time here?
Yeah.
Yeah. You might have to. This has been going on for a while.
I give him the top.
Yeah. He's gonna give you some papyrus for you. Okay. All right. So we got that. All right. Now, what's the negative version? Just 2 people. You 2 guys. What's the negative version? Not you, not anybody else. Just the 2. Based on what I just said, what's the negative version?
I would say
Why is it that? You understand it?
I'm not sure how you generate where it starts.
How he brought? Yeah, of course. That's what that's his question too.
Yeah.
All right. So how did you find out where to start?
In that case, it's a little bit easier than the other ones because you're trying to land on you're trying to land on A flat. So I just went
No. Land on A flat. They're landing in two different places.
concert.
The first one lands on A flat. The second one lands on E flat.
Right. I mean, they're circled around the A flat. I think. Like you start. Wait,
They're
what
not
was the
circled.
first one?
You saying that they're symmetrical around A flat? Is that what you mean by circled around? Are you trying to say they're symmetrical around A flat?
That's what I'm saying.
They're not. Sorry. They're not. They're symmetrical around the fifth. This fifth. Which is like saying symmetrical around the minor third and the major third. Or the sixth and the minor seventh.
So I guess I got lucky there.
Oh. That's pretty good. That's pretty good luck.
Oh, I think I can. So.
Okay, here's what I did. Now you guys know what that is, right? I'm starting on the what?
On the second, 3-5.
Well, okay, that's one way of looking at it. I'm starting on the second. But if you're gonna find, that's one way of looking at it. I'm starting on the second, and then I'm starting on the second with the other one too, because the scale is. But I don't think this is what you meant. I don't think that's what you meant though.
Well, you're starting.
And that's the second.
Well, you're starting a fifth above the fifth there,
You can look at it that way.
and then with the negative, you're starting a fifth below the root.
That's what I was saying, but
I'm
It's
starting.
2 fifths below the
I'm starting. Both of them are fifth above the fifth. In the negative, I'm starting a fifth above the fifth too, but I'm below the fifth too. I'm starting a fifth below the fifth also. I'm gonna use the word too. However, you got to understand what the starting point is.
and it's the
In the negative world, the starting point is E flat,
Yeah.
and in the positive world, the starting point is A flat. That's what you got to understand. Once you get that, then it doesn't matter whether you use the terminology starting on the second, or the terminology starting the fifth below the fifth, which is the same thing as the second, or the terminology of you're starting on the 1 of the 5 chord, which is the same thing. I mean the 5 of the 5 chord. Sorry. It's 5 of the 5 chord, right?
And D flat's the 5 of the
Of
negative.
the 5
A
of
flat.
negative A flat, yes.
Right.
Okay, it's the same thing.
Okay.
Alright?
Yeah.
So if I do this, and I tell you that's negative, what's the positive?
You go.
Let me give you the numbers. No, I'm not going to give you the numbers. Yeah, I'll give you the numbers. What's the first number? La. What number is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7.
In A flat, it's 5. But it's
Of the 5 chord, what is it?
it's 1.
No.
Oh, that's negative.
2.
Oh, negative.
Oh, that was the negative. I'm sorry.
You guys only have a few more choices. Come on.
Negative.
It's 2.
No, it's
Or
not. It's not 2.
4.
Seven.
It's 4. It's 4. Somebody said it. Who said it?
I did.
Yeah. 4, 5. Oh, no. It's 4. Why is it 4?
It's 4.
What's 1?
5.
No. What note is 1?
E flat. E flat.
No.
A flat's
You guys are
A
guessing.
flat's
A
1.
flat, 1.
But then wouldn't it be?
Wait,
It's 4.
It's 4. Right.
It's 4.
So
Because it's E flat, which is
Yes.
4.
Exactly.
But so, how is A flat 1?
A flat is 1. It's a 5 chord.
How is it first pitch?
exactly
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's the flat 7. That's our 5 chord. Look. Okay, let's go to the regular. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7, 1. We're doing the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7, 1. Got it? You got it? Okay. So it's 4. Da 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 da. Okay. So if I do, what are the numbers? 4.
5.
Yeah.
1.
1.
Flat 3.
No, flat nothing.
3.
3.
4.
4. 5. There you go. 4, 5, 1, 3, 4, 5. So if you were going to convert that to the negative world, right? You don't want it in there. So you're going to convert that to the negative world. Let's say you did exactly that. It's a sex change. Be careful.
Oh, okay.
Sex change.
When I did it right the first time?
Nobody
Hey.
knows what she does.
Huh? What? I didn't hear that the
Sex
first time.
change. Nobody knows what she does.
Nobody knows what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's about the
Play again? Did you play that before?
That's
The
the
first
first
time.
time.
Okay, alright. You guys spelling what he's doing? He's doing 4, 5, 1, 3, 4, 5, and then resolution. Alright, play it. Now play it out. Now, there's a lot of shit from if you became fluent in this, there's a lot of stuff that you could do that you have no idea about. It's a whole lot of stuff that you can do. And not just, simply turn the tune upside down like what we were doing the other day, just kind of a silly thing. But it still gets you into the point where you can see things. When we're playing play the roots, all the illusion.
Oh.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Wait.
Oh, negative.
Oh.
Okay, see what we're doing?
Yeah.
Okay, do it again. That's all the things you are. In negative.
Yes,
Right?
Just
Yes.
checking.
Huh?
What we were doing,
You can hear it because of the rhythm, right?
Yeah.
Let's do Cherokee. You know it?
Yeah. Wait. Okay.
Okay, that's close.
Sorry.
That's close.
Sorry.
That's close. You know the bridge? It's all like that.
That actually,
Huh?
that melody actually sounds more like
It sounds more Cherokee-ish than the other one, right?
Oh.
It sounds more Native American than the other one does.
Steve, can I ask you?
Yes.
It's a little detail. When we were doing
Yeah, he keeps going back to that. Yeah,
so
okay.
much better. No, this. What's the other
Semitone last, semitone in the middle, semitone in the beginning. Semitone last, semitone in the middle. No, start on the same note. Just do start on the same note. Yeah. There you go. Okay.
Okay, what are the starting notes?
I don't know what you mean by what that's starting
No,
notes.
we were doing.
We were just continuing.
No, that's like that's something.
Is that what you're talking about?
No, I'm not talking about
That's
this
all.
area.
He's talking
No,
about
I was
within the scale.
when we were doing in 3D one different
Oh,
ways.
well, first of all, you're doing negative 2 5s?
Yeah, that's it. And then
You tell me.
is that it? No.
Listen. I'm gonna tell you the way to do it. Remember we said it was generator to generator,
Yeah.
and then we said it was what?
The fifth is the fifth.
Fifth to the fifth. Now, okay, the question is, what the fifth of what?
That's my
The fifth of negative A flat to negative E flat.
yeah. Negative A flat. So that's the fifth. Is it?
Yeah.
You tell me.
Negative A flat is that.
Okay, all right. So then do it. There you go.
Oh yeah? Okay. And then what?
I'll just play the 5 so I won't confuse you. Do the first one again. He's writing them all down. Do the first one.
Oh, sorry.
The first, number 1.
Okay.
Like ba he ah da ha. Okay.
Okay.
Come on.
Is that what you want?
What you play? Ba he da da da.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. 1, 3, 4.
Next. Next. There you go. Do it again. There you go. Those are the 3. Those are the 3.
Okay.
Okay, now do the positive ones. Now negative. Okay, you reversed them though. You reversed them.
Ah, yeah, reverse.
That was waiting from the finish.
Okay.
But you reversed them. You understand that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You put the third first and then the fifth, but you did the fifth.
Uh-huh.
Now the same order, generator, fifth, third, we've seen that order before. Where? It's in the harmonic series. It's the order that the different notes come in. Right? You guys recognize it?
Yeah.
And it's also the order of, well, forget about that. Let's go. Let's keep going because I want to keep it moving. All right. So we did that. Right. Okay. We did all that, right? So let's go back to Cherokee. No, regular. Nobody knows negative. Regular. Nothing wrong with them. Okay, what did I just do there? That was very simple, that part. Almost.
No.
No, you're getting further away.
I was trying to remember.
You guys already
I wasn't listening.
weren't listening? Okay. Alright, I'm gonna change it up. Okay? More food for my boo. Alright, so you understand that? You play it?
No, I can't.
Try it. You didn't try it. He's like, oh, I can't play it. I'm just using the same, all the same stuff that we've been talking about today. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
I'm using
Yeah, I know. But you're not doing the same thing. You're the same thing.
that's the same thing. No? This is a jingle.
What chord is this? What chord is that?
That's a C minor 6.
Right. And what was the next chord?
It's a G minor 6.
Right. So the next one B flat to F.
Oh, you're
Oh.
doing the next
I was doing the same one actually.
No, okay. I went forward. Right.
Okay.
And then the next one. Here's something. Let's get back. Yes.
On that friends,
Yeah.
how did you get that? Or is it a name?
How did I get there? Not you. No, yes, you. How did I get there? What is that?
Well, I know that it's like a negative dominant chord, but if you transpose it into just like the major key, it's
You already said it before.
I
Remember
just
you
wanna-
said remember we were doing the 2 5s?
yeah.
And you
so-
said one of them started on the flat of the key we were going? The flat?
I'm gonna say 6 because I'm hearing.
Yes. The flat 6. He said because I hear yes, the flat 6. Right? One of the 2 5s is this. Right? But I'm not doing the 5, I'm just doing the 2. See, these negative chords are just these 2 chords. That's the trick.
Okay. You have a secondary dominant.
Yes, I did. But that's not what he's asking about.
No.
I did. You're right. That was the next question. You ahead of me. But there's a secondary dominant. There's a dominant of the dominant, is what he's saying. You know, but he's exactly right. It's secondary dominant. That was the first one. This, right? That's the secondary dominant. To go to a certain place, or if you walk down Dean to get to Flatbush, you can't make the same move. You know, you walk down Bergen, you might have to make a left to get to where you're going. You walk down Dean, you might have to make a right, or the other way around. A right and left. You have to make an adjustment. And it's the same thing in music. You have to make adjustments. You know, it's not just this verbatim transposition thing. You know, patterns. You have to, there's adjustments that we make. But you know, all that's up here, because all this stuff is imaginary anyway. You realize that. Time signatures, one, scales, all that's imaginary. They're not real. So as long as you know they're not real, then you can do what you want. You can make something up that's not real that works. You know.
So the Barry Harris thing, the diminished axis. Why is it minor thirds, why not major thirds, why not? And the other hand.
Well, I didn't actually go to Barry Harris's class, but it sounded like he said, were you talking about octatonic collection? Were you talking about this?
Yeah, I guess. Basically.
Were you talking about that, or just straight
So-
diminished triads?
Well, no, basically that. Well, coming from a diminished seventh.
Yeah, but did you mean that diminished scale that I just played?
Well, that's part of it. That well, Barry says that's two diminished sevenths.
Right. True. True. But is he saying that anything off of both of them work? Off all those notes? All
Yeah,
eight?
that's where the dominant seventh chords come from.
Okay, right. I say the same thing. The only difference is, for example, let's take. Okay, let's pick some C. No, yeah, we're in C, right? So G C.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So the diminished scale that you use, I call it octatonic. It's a different term. It's the same thing as. Everybody play that. Because they consist of 8 tonics. I don't know if Barry is saying this, but this is, it's called me Barry 2.0.
Yeah.
Okay? 8 tonics. The question is, what are the 8 tonics? The 8 tonics are those same notes that you just played. And I'm going to give them to you, the 8 tonics. Right? That's one, the obvious one. That's the second one. The third one. The fourth one. It's always look, dominant 7, minor 6, dominant 7, minor 6, dominant 7, minor 6, okay? Okay? Okay, now notice that this tetrachord principle is in effect because the first and the last note are the same. It's the middle 2 notes that have changed.
And if you started from the top and did the whole thing backwards,
It's actually not even the middle 2 notes that's changing. It's the bottom note and the third note. Okay?
We have one note which doesn't belong to the series.
Huh?
We don't have a E flat in
Wait.
the
You misunderstand. Octatonic. Octatonic. We're only talking about the tonics. Tonics. Octatonic. Okay? I'm not talking about the whole chord. And despite the fact that some of these notes may not appear in that octatonic scale, it still works. Because remember, I told you, it's not about which notes are over which chord. It's not about that. It's only about the paths. Okay? So when I do this, okay, I can also do this. Or any version of that, okay, go on. Anything. Go ahead. All that is A flat minor 6, or what I'm calling negative E flat 7. You're calling it negative E flat 7 because you start on E flat and play a dominant 7 chord down, that's what you get. But you ain't got to call it that. You can call it doo-doo, you can call it whatever you want. But it's doo-doo's good, okay? All right? Okay? Right? Play. Okay? Now, a school guy's gonna say, well, you just altered, you augmented 5, but that's not what I'm thinking. I'm just thinking A flat minor. Literally, that's all I'm thinking. Okay, do it again. That's all I'm thinking. It's A flat minor. I'm not thinking augmented anything. I'm not even thinking the 5 chord that she's playing. I'm just thinking A flat minor. Or A flat minor 6 if I add a 7. Or you call minor 6 is really, it's really a 7. Okay. What does that mean? Kids?
Wow.
Yeah.
Door's over here.
Alright. It's moving. Okay. Alright. So that's what I was doing when I was doing ba ba. When I was doing that. That's the same. I was doing the same thing. Same thing, right? Now some of this stuff is in music. It's in tunes and things like that. I talked about Yard Bird Suite, right? So that's the right. That's the one he was talking about, right? Minor 4 to flat 7 to 1. That 2 5. So it's all the same thing. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
Now these 2 chords are just the top parts of the 5 chords. That's all they are, right? Right? Right?
That's almost an easier way. That's an easier way to understand it. I think.
It might be for vertical thinking, but in terms of like melodic and when you're thinking about this thing, see, I'm not making this up. These old guys just thought in terms of triads. That's all it was. It was very simple theory. All this altered stuff is just something that you guys, that's the way you guys think. You know? Anyway, let's move on. So what were we doing? We were doing Cherokee, right? Is that what we were doing before that? And we were doing this. And I want to know the positive version of that. And there's a lot of ways you can think of it, but you can think of which dominance that you're starting on in relation to the regular dominance. You can think of the keys. There's all kinds of things you can think of. Okay, if we do the key thing, like Barry Harris was thinking about. Call me Barry Harris. If we do the key thing, what note am I starting on? In relation to the key.
To 9 or 7.
Then what?
Of the 8.
Just give me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If I'm or flat or sharp, whatever.
Flat 7.
Flat 7? Is that right? Don't say nothing right? What starting note is that?
I mean, that's concert A.
Yes,
we're going
that's
to
concert
concert.
A. That's true. But I'm talking function now. What is it? Is it 1? Is it 2? Is it 3? Is it 4? Is it 5? Is it 6? Is it 7? Or is it flat 1, flat 2, flat 3, or sharp 1, sharp 3? What is it?
In the negative world, I would say that it's a 2. Is that right?
You gotta see, in order to find out whether something's 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, you first have to establish your reference point. Without establishing a reference point, in other words, without knowing what key you're in, you're just guessing. You're just pulling notes out there. What key are we in?
I was treating it like we're the key B.
You mean
Resolving out
positive
B.
key?
What do you mean by B? B major?
Yeah.
All right. If you think in terms of the key of B major, you're probably going to come up with the wrong note. See, I'm making a negative progression. So if I make a negative progression, then I'm in a negative world. If I make a positive progression, I'm in a positive world. Look, if I did this, play Cherokee. All right, bridge. All right. Do it. Okay, what note did I start on? In the key. In the key function. 1, exactly. See? That's easy for you to figure out. All right. Now, if I do the negative thing, you gotta know what 1 is. If you don't know what 1 is, you won't know what 2, 3, 4, 5, or anything else is either. You gotta know which of these 12 notes is 1. Which of these 12 notes is 1?
Well, obviously it's not B, but I thought it was B because that's like.
It's not B.
That's like the negative fifth.
No, it's not E. So you eliminated 2 of them. You eliminated 2 of them. He said E and you said B, and I said no in both cases. So we got 10 notes to go.
Yeah. I'm just gonna be guessing because I don't.
Exactly.
Because isn't this?
Okay, let's put it this way. did negative all the things you are, right? Oh, we did negative Cherokee. And I said, now normal Cherokee starts on what? On what?
The third.
Three, exactly. So negative Cherokee is going to start on what?
3.
On 3 also, exactly. It's also going to start on 3.
Oh, okay, so
It's also going to start on 3. 3 of what?
of G flat.
No.
Three of the negative.
Negative sign.
Look, if I go, what's 1? What note is that?
The B flat.
B flat. So if I go,
It's
what's 1?
F.
Right, exactly, F. What's the relationship between F and B flat? Voila! They're fifths. So now let's transfer everything back to the key of B, which is the first key we run into in the bridge of Cherokee. What's the negative 1? There you go, baby. And A is what relationship to F sharp? Is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7?
6.
6. There you go. Wunderbar.
Okay.
6. That's
So
it.
good.
We've got it. You have to think of that pillar, that spine of tonality, that fifth. It's like a spine, just like your back, right?
Uh-huh.
One generator is at the top and one generator is at the bottom. Which generator is at the bottom? The positive, yes. And which generator is at the top? The
Negative.
yes, I have to watch out. Inward. Yes. That's good. It's all good. You guys got it.
Okay, so now the generator.
So now if you turn it around, if you turn the pattern around, you got to start on 6 in the positive order. If you turn this negative pattern around, you got to start on 6 in the key that we're in. The key that we're in is what?
B.
B, exactly. Now, here's the next thing you got to know. You got to know that note that we're calling the 6th. What is that within locally? And I'm going to tell you what it is. It's a 7. Because the chord is it's 7.
Alright.
And I'm going 7, 5, 3, 1.
Uh-huh. And then you
Okay, and then I'm doing the same thing. 7, 5, 3, 1, and then resolving up a semitone. You got to do the same thing. But I'm starting on 6 at the key. Okay?
Right.
But that 6 is going to be the 7 of the chord. That 6th degree is going to be the 7th of the local chord. You understand what I mean by local chord?
I think so, but probably not. So the 6 is the 7th of the negative G chord that we're on, and then
Somebody play the pattern for me. That's good. Now play the positive pattern. Starts on what note? What note is
give me a
on?
quick second.
6. Come on. You don't need a second. 6. 6 of A flat. 6 of B. I mean.
Yeah, E.
No, I said it by accident. I fucked up.
I didn't hear you.
There you go. What is that? What note is that? What note is it? A flat. Now play the pattern. You good? Look.
No?
And the last note. Okay. You understand why? You understand it? I know you can hear the notes, but do you understand it?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess so. I mean, technically I do, but I just don't understand why we are even playing these particular negative chords then.
Well, these aren't negative chords anymore. They're positive.
I know the
chords.
ones that we did.
Huh?
You're just leading back to B.
Because what I'm doing is I'm doing a secondary dominance. Okay, I'm going to tell you why. What's the 5 of this, right? The 5 is... Right? Everybody can agree with that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, right? Now, according to Barry, okay?
Okay.
And
Okay.
I'm changing the sex on the end because we changed the sex on the end of the other one.
Yeah.
Alright?
Yeah.
And all he did was do a different version of this. It's the same, but he played the same thing.
Okay. Yeah, that
He
makes
just played the
a
same
lot more
figure.
sense.
Alright?
I was-
505. But I'm calling E flat 7 to be a dominant progression. I'm calling that a dominant progression. Because of Barry.
Because
It's all about Barry.
it
Huh?
fits in the octatonic.
I might be there too.
Huh? You say what? You were Barry also?
Yeah,
Oh, okay. Alright, cool. Don't tell Barry I said that.
that's what I was just saying.
Don't go back to tell Barry. Barry's gonna be like, come on, man, that guy's crazy.
Yeah, thanks for slowing it down. It makes
But I'm
sense.
telling you, it works. You don't believe me? It works?
I
Okay.
believe you, yeah.
Cherokee, we're on the second part of Cherokee. The second 16, okay? Right before the bridge.
You want the bass?
Or you could right? We're just doing different things.
Yeah.
But can you hear it leading?
Yeah.
I'm not just playing random notes. What did I play the last time? Can you play it?
The last one?
Yeah, the last one. There you go. I'm still thinking E flat 7, but now I'm playing G minor 6, which is the top part of that.
Yeah.
Right? Right?
Yeah.
Right? You hear it? Same thing. Right? Now I changed it. Different color. No, sorry. Same thing. Right? Same thing?
I think it's just that in this case it's easier to hear.
Okay, all it's the same stuff.
Yeah. I'm just like right now I'm hearing the result. Like I'm hearing the notes, but
You ever heard this? You ever heard this?
it takes a long time to do
You ever
that.
heard this? You guys heard that, right? Play the bomb. Again. One play. Right? That's one of the things, right? Listen. Right? Another one. That's now you can think of that as D flat 7. I think it was A flat minor 6. In the next chord. Woo! There you go. Okay? Let's get back. All right? Get back, right? Alright, so you got it, right? Let's do the ball. Play the bang, hold on, bang. 1, 2, 1, That's what I'm doing. I'm doing different ones. Once, roots. 1, 2, There you go. Okay. Alright. So same stuff. Everything I'm doing is the same stuff. Try it. Play roots. Right. Now go ahead. Okay, so you got it, right? Rhythm changes. Okay, so what did I do?
I don't know.
Okay, okay. darkness and light, and light. It's like how much. This is how I think of it. I'm just giving you my version, not the very Harris version right now. Okay. How much solar energy or lunar energy do you want at a given time? Okay. The lunar energy I'm referring to is this dark, this negative thing, and the solar energy is this positive thing. They're both part of the same world to me. It's just like day and night is part of this, all part of the cycle, right? It's just a matter of how much. You can almost think of it like colors. How much of a certain color do you want? And of course, for what reason? I mean, it can just be because because it's slick and you like doing this and whatever. But I don't think of this stuff in terms of inside and outside. It's all inside as far as I'm concerned. You know? And I get all this information from older cats. I said this before, like John Coltrane. He was never a free musician. He never played outside. He was playing inside all his life. It's just that people don't understand what the inside stuff he was playing later. But to me, he was always playing the same thing. And there's a book called Coltrane on Coltrane, and a guy asked him late in his career, what is he doing? And he says, I'm doing the same thing as I was doing back when I was with Miles. He said it. Either he's a liar, or we don't know what he's talking about. And so it's our job to figure out what he's talking about. He wasn't the kind of cat that talked, wrote books, and all that kind of stuff. You guys know John Coltrane, right? Everybody? No, I'm born 1926, Hamlet, North Carolina. You guys know? Okay. Anyway, so we just have to figure out, well, what does that mean? Now, it doesn't mean that if he's playing in the band, it doesn't mean that everybody in the band is doing the same thing. If he's not playing outside, it doesn't mean Pharoah Sanders is not. Different people can be doing different things, right? One could be playing with Dizzy, and they might not be playing the same concept, even though somebody 20 years later called both of them bebop. Might not be the same thing. In fact, it wasn't. So it's the same thing. Train and McCoy weren't doing the same thing. What they were doing was stuff that fit together. And I think I said this the other week. I asked McCoy what Train was doing. He said, I had no idea. He said, I know what I'm doing and how I responded to it. He said, but I don't know what Bruce was doing. That was a mild shock to me, but not. McCoy's still alive. You guys can still check this out. I might be lying. Okay, any questions about any of this? Yeah, he's like, yeah. Back to that tetrachord. No, go ahead.
This might.
It's okay.
I don't know.
No
but,
questions.
I'd like to know exactly why you get if there's like a starting point or a pivot around which the positive and negative go, it seems like the negative is always starting from a different place than the positive.
Yes, there is a pivot. There is a symmetrical center, but it's a little complex to describe. If you go back to that fifth that I was talking about, okay, that's the crucial thing. But I don't really think of it as the fifth. I really think of it as a two-note axis that's in two different places, a tritonal part. Okay, the major and minor third of that fifth. Like let's say the fifth is C and G. Okay, let's say we're talking in terms of destination now. We're not necessarily talking about where we're at. We're talking about where we're going. We're talking about Flatbush. We're not talking about Bergen or you understand the analogy, right? We're not talking about Bergen or Dean or Prospect Place or any of those streets. We're talking about Flatbush, and Bergen and Dean and Prospect are the way to get there. So in terms of dominance, those are our dominants. Bergen Street, Dean Street, Prospect, what's another one over here? Anyone that goes that way. All right? Those are our dominants. Flatbush is the tonic that we're getting to. Or it can be another dominant to go to somewhere else. Right? To go over the Manhattan Bridge or something like that, to get to Canal. But I'm just, I don't know how many people drive there. Where's Canal? Okay, so, all right, so you get what I'm saying, though, right? I'm using these streets as analogies. All right? So in this case, we're here, and we want to get to Flatbush, and then from Flatbush, we might want to get somewhere else. Or we might just want to hang out in Flatbush for a while. It's the same thing with music. You want to get somewhere, you might hang out there, or you might move on to somewhere else. In music, eventually you're going to move on to somewhere else. Even if you put your horn down and move on tomorrow, eventually you're going to move on to somewhere else. It's always moving. Everything is moving. Despite what you think, even Flatbush is moving, but everything's moving. Right? The whole earth is moving, so Flatbush got to be moving too. Alright, so you get what I'm saying? Alright, so this fifth though is like it's like an anchor. It's like a reference point. Okay, that fifth. Okay? So when I say I'm thinking of two notes, I'm thinking of the major and minor third within that fifth. If we're C and G, I'm thinking E flat E. And then the tritone away from that, which is what? A, B flat. Right. Either one of those. You see? I mean, it doesn't matter whether I call them the third or the seventh because it's the third in one case, it's the seventh in another. E, I give you an example. G, no, I'm back in what key am I in? The C. Okay, C key. All right. Let's think about the dominance of C. Okay. So you got G7. All right. Now that B is the third of G. It's also the seventh of E, right? Which is a tritone away. Okay.
I don't know.
Seven G.
B is the seventh.
Talking about B.
Oh, the seventh of C sharp is what I want to say. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Seventh of C sharp. Yeah, you guys are right. Kind of right. The seventh of C sharp. All right. Not C. C sharp. C sharp. You got what I'm saying? A tritone away from G. C sharp. So, and it's the same thing with the seventh of G, which is F, is also the E sharp, the third of the C sharp, right? All right. So you have that fifth. If we're in C, right? Okay. So we're using this. The fifth I'm talking about is this. That's the fifth I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
All right. So the thing about the dominance is this. I'm trying to figure out how to explain this. With the tonics, the fifth represents C major and C minor. You guys got that? The destination we're going to. It represents that. It's either a major chord coming from the bottom or a major chord falling from the top. Right? Now, so if we have this. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? And then the other. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 also. Alright? Alright? That's 5. That's where our dominant chord starts. Right? And then our. That's 5. That's why our dominant chord starts. You got that?
Yeah.
Right? Alright. Now, all of them within the diminished 7 chord, you know. Alright? Okay, and in the positive world? Right? Okay, if you put all those together, all those roots, all those tonics, they form 8 tonics, the octatonic that I was talking about. All of that resolves to either C major or C minor or E flat major or E flat minor or G flat major or G flat minor or A major or A minor. Okay? So it's like 8 dominants resolve to 8 tonics. You understand? 8 dominants resolve to 8 tonics. So I did a record called On the Rising of the 64 Paths. And that's what I'm talking about there. Those are the 64 paths. Because the 60, if you have 8, they can go to any 8, that's 64 different progressions. 64 different dominant progressions.
What is that?
Huh?
Like
Yes, like the I Ching. Hexagrams, right. As a matter of fact, that's exactly what I use to represent them, as hexagrams. Okay? You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right, now, the question you asked me about how do you know where to start and blah, 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 is there some kind of reference and all this kind of stuff. Now, if I ask you to play a blues in F, Matter of fact, play a blues and F right now. Just the however you want to play it, just the beginning of the
chorus.
one chorus. Go ahead. Okay. Now, what were you thinking about when you were playing that?
Oh, I was thinking about making the form obvious, but not too obvious.
Yeah, but were you thinking about each note?
Not.
Were you calling off the notes in your head?
No, not all of them.
Were you thinking about where do I start here or where do I start there or any of that kind of stuff?
A little.
Huh? A little.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. My point is this. I mean, it sounds like you've been playing for a while, and it sounds like what you're doing is internalized.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So to really answer your question, you're not going to do nothing in any system unless you internalize it. Improvisation. Nothing. I don't care what it is. You know. Now this thing that you just did is internalized. That's why you can do it.
Yeah.
If you were like a classical violinist or something like that, and I say, okay, play a blues and F, you wouldn't have any idea what to do, where to start, nothing, right? The reason being is because, you don't know what it is. It's not internalized. And then if you started learning it, you're going to be thinking, okay, what's the starting note? Now, what's the second chord? Now, what's the third? You're going to be thinking all kind of stuff like that because you don't know what you're doing. But at this point, you've listened to enough music, you've heard enough, you've been doing it enough that you don't have to do that. Just like I didn't have to do that with rhythm changes. So when I'm doing all this stuff that I'm doing, this dark, light, lunar, this and that, I'm not thinking, okay, where's the secondary down? Okay, where's the symmetrical center? Okay, I'm not thinking any of that. I'm doing exactly what he's doing. I'm thinking in broad terms, maybe about the idea I'm trying to play, the shape or whatever, where I'm trying to go, but in very broad strokes. I'm not thinking all these details. Why? Because I've already done it. Not because I was born doing it. I mean, I couldn't play. Mary had a little lamb in the beginning. I worked on it and I internalized it, and that's why I can do it. If you want to know how Train can do whatever he's doing, he worked on it and he internalized it. It's not a secret. I don't care how fast we haven't had geniuses in this music. Art Tatum, cats like that. They still had to work on what they did at some point. They just went through stuff fast because we're fast, But they still had to do it. He wasn't born doing that, And that's really the answer to your question. You have to work it out slowly in your mind, because the way the mind works is that you have to have a mental image of what you're doing. But if it's internalized, you no longer have to do it. If I say, okay, class is finished, and all of a sudden you have to get up and walk out, you're not going to think, oh, right foot or left foot, now where do I put it?
Yeah.
You know how to walk. You can get up, talk to your friend, eat a banana, whatever, walk out the door. You won't just walk into the wall. I mean, you know what to do. When you cross the street, you should have it together where you automatically look for cars. If you don't, you're going to be in trouble. You should have all these things together. Right? There's a lot of things you can get in the car. If you can drive, you just get in the car and you don't have to think, okay, where do I start? Do I shift first? You just get in the car and drive. Everything that you can do, I don't care whether it's eat, swallow, put on your clothes, take a shit, drive a car, whatever, it's internalized. Some of these things you internalized long ago. You're not going to be able to do none of this other stuff until you internalize it. Which in the beginning means going very slow. Like some of you guys who come from France, you had to learn English, right? You didn't just start speaking English, Okay, smart ass. All right, anyway. You get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
So that's what it takes. So it's like a new language with some slightly different information and everything, and you got to internalize that first. Even when we were talking about rhythmic stuff, it would be the same thing. You have to internalize it. But what's happening with professionals is they usually give up before because they can already play. And by already being able to play, it actually hurts you from learning new stuff because you don't want to go through that beginning stage again. And your ego protects you. It wants you to, you just want to get stuff that's already near, that you can get fast, that's already close by. So that's why we slow down as we get older. You don't want to go into that new territory. It's too painful. And when you're 15, it doesn't matter because you're 15, everything's painful. So, I didn't mean it that way, but anyway, any other questions? You guys over here, you're not saying anything. There's a whole group of people over here that's like the silent majority. You guys aren't saying anything. You're not asking anything. One bold soul, yes.
What's the sex change that you talked about?
By sex change, I just meant quality change. I was
Okay.
referring to. I mean, I didn't actually say what the sex was, but in this case, the positive is the male, and I don't mean this in a bad way. Please don't beat me up with this. I don't mean negative as in. See, Rio, you're not even supposed to be here. I don't mean negative. I don't mean negative in terms of negative like bad. I mean polarity. Okay. You can't win. See? All right. I'm gonna have to start giving classes with all men and then classes with all women. Because even if I said dark and light, I would still be in the same trouble. You know, because you guys probably have, you know, I mean, I don't think of black as negative, but some of you might, you know. I don't know. So anyway,
Can you
but
explain the well,
huh? No, I'm not gonna explain the whole thing. That's what I meant by sex change.
Okay.
Was it the positive word or negative word? That's what I meant. You know. So, huh?